What's going on, guys? Chris here, back again with another market podcast for you guys. This is going to be episode 3 with my co-host, Nate, the Thefutaccountant.
Let's go. Episode 3.
Yes, sir. And that was bad. Fuck. That was bad. We're going to start that over. What's going on, guys? Chris here, back again with another market podcast for you guys today. This is going to be episode 3 with my co-host, Nate, the Thefutaccountant.
What's up, boys?
Okay, and fuck! God damn it! Why can't I say anything after you said it? What's up, guys? Chris here, back again with another FUT Market podcast for you guys today. This one is going to be episode 3, and did you just laugh there?
I did.
I can't wait to watch this back later on the editing. What's up, guys? Chris here, back again with another podcast for you guys today. This one is going to be episode 3 with my co-host, Nate, the Thefutaccountant.
Let's go.
And we're going to be talking a lot today about Team of the Year, a little bit kind of recapping the whole promo and kind of how much of a letdown the promo was in general. We're going to be talking about future stars a little bit this Friday. It has been confirmed via the loading screen. And we're also going to be talking about some ways you guys over the next couple of months, because we are starting to head into the second half of the year, and kind of how you can prepare to trade and make coins, and kind of the differences of the first half to the second half. So, let's kind of talk about Team of the Year. Just before we get into it today, if you guys can just drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new right here, that'd be absolutely amazing. Make sure you guys go show some love to Nate in the description. I'll have all of his links to his Twitter, his Instagram, his TikTok, his Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff will be in there for him. Go show him some love. The first thing I want to talk about is the Team of the Year promo. And the Team of the Year promo really was a letdown. For the most part, I thought there was a couple really good parts of it. And it was also a really weird promo, which we'll get into as well, in my opinion. But there was some decent parts. That I thought the Dybala SBC was really nicely priced. You see him in my team right here. He was coming in around 200,000+ coins, which I thought for a 91 Dybala was really good. We had the Boateng SBC as well, which we saw a lot of market movements with them. And then we had the Ronaldo SBC, which kind of, the idea of the Cristiano Ronaldo is great. I think a lot of people had a problem with his, kind of the boost, or maybe the lag thereof of the boost that his card did get compared to his 92. But overall, I thought it was a really weird promo when it came to the card design, the pack weight, the lack of lightning rounds as well. I thought there was a lot of really weird things. The content start time as well, which was pretty weird. Nate, if you have anything to kind of jump in with this Team of the Year promo, something that was kind of caught your eye with it, just kind of recapping it.
Yeah, I think it was just it seemed EA didn't put their full effort into it almost. We did have some good value SBCs, I think you mentioned the Ronaldo, the Dybala as well, and the Boateng. I would venture to say those were all, those three, without those 3 SBCs, the promo would have just been really, really bad. And I think it kind of started from the beginning, because we didn't have the type of lead up that we did, even with the loading screens and the promo stuff that EA put out. I remember in years past, EA made big time promo videos, kind of sort of leaking the players that were in Team of the Year. And last year in FIFA 20, we had that whole loading screen with the dressing room that they would update every day. And it just seemed like there was a lot less effort put into Team of the Year this year. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with COVID, and I'm sure they weren't able to bring players in or send people out to go make cool promo shoots and stuff because of, everything that's going on. So I understand that part of things, but it just felt even the lightning rounds, it just felt like a lot of stuff didn't make sense, because they could have dropped lightning rounds literally every day for the whole time the promo was out, and they, even on the full team was in packs for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they only dropped lightning rounds on Thursday and Friday. Saturday and Sunday there were no lightning rounds, which was crazy. We both know plenty of people that had FIFA points that they weren't able to spend because there were no lightning rounds out there to spend their FIFA points on, which is totally opposite of what EA usually does. So I think that was the most shocking thing out of everything. Now, of course, the Ronaldo SBC was a really awesome concept, and I still think that SBC was a W because that's the cheapest Ronaldo you'll ever see in FIFA Ultimate Team, like 200 and whatever K for a Ronaldo, or 300K, however much it was.
Yeah.
It's more now, but I mean, that was like the cheapest Ronaldo you'll ever get because Ronaldo never gets that cheap. So I think for the game as a whole, for the casual, like that SBC was incredible. And that's just like game-breaking content. So I know a lot of people are excited for like what could come in the future because of that. And I think that's like the biggest W that came from Team of the Year this year was that SBC and that concept. So hopefully it is, they put more of those types of SBCs out throughout the year.
Yeah, I definitely think they're, once we saw Ronaldo get one, I have no doubt in my mind that there'll be a time where they're going to bring out Lionel Messi. There's going to be a time where they bring out Neymar. I kind of think, I was talking to my chat about this a couple days ago. Like Neymar, he had back in, I think, FIFA 14, he had like an 84 overall left wing card. I could see them doing something like that. I don't know where they would kind of bring back the Messi overall too, but maybe do the similar 86, 87 overall, kind of like Ronaldo was there. I hinted to Nate a little bit, like kind of as we were preparing here right before the podcast, my little conspiracy or kind of like what EA was doing, because he mentioned there about the lightning rounds and how we didn't have that many. For me, I think this all brings back the idea that EA is trying their absolute hardest to keep people on this game. And we know, and me and Nate know somebody like really closely that had like over 200,000 FIFA points ready to go. And he wasn't able to give or put in all of his FIFA points. And I know a lot of people that were the same. And this kind of leads back to that theory of like, why was the Team of the Year promo delayed 3 weeks? They pushed out a couple of promos beforehand, like the headliner promo we got before Team of the Year for the first time. We got a freeze promo instead of the actual FUB miss. So this, I think, is EA's idea of, they know the analytics. They've seen over the years that there's a decent drop-off in players a week or two after Team of the Year. Let's do something where they can kind of prolong their journey into the FIFA cycle and kind of give it to, go further into the cycle. They don't want them to just stay till Team of the Year. They want to kind of get everyone's money for the whole year. And if you have loaded up 200,000 FIFA points and you were only able to spend, let's just say 60,000, well, you're not just going to like leave them on the account. That's money that you put onto that account. You're going to spend it on other promos. And again, if they run a limited number of lightning rounds during Future Stars, well, you might not be able to run through those at that moment. You might not be able to get through 140,000 or 160,000 FIFA points in the Future Stars promo. And it's just going to allow for people to stay on this game. And I think it's going to get to the point where if they are running all these promos and people haven't really ran out of those FIFA points, or, we're going to be at Team of the Season before we know it here, right? It's only going to be a few months away, especially because of the late start time and also because of the international competitions, right? They might push Team of the Season a little bit earlier this year, and then they'll do something, probably a European Championships type. We had like a lot of different modes, or like, with FIFA 16, we had the European Man of the Match cards. We're going to have something like that probably happening for the Copa America, the Euros this summer. I think AFCON might be the summer as well. So it's going to be a nice summer of football. And I think EA kind of has this kind of schedule where they're trying to get people to stay on for as much as they can, because there's obviously more promos for them to put out, which will give them more money in the future. And that's, I think, what they're really looking at when it comes to these lightning rounds. And it kind of all comes into one, really, with their plan, in my opinion. I don't know if, Nate, you see the same thing as me on that.
Yeah, I could definitely see something along those lines. Like, I don't know if they would plan their year like, hey, we're going to have kind of a lackluster Team of the Year, and then like try to hit it right back and have like a quick, like a run it back with Future Stars and try to make that really hyping too. I don't know. It just seems weird, but I guess that is a possibility. And I'm curious to see just what happens in this next week. If it's a 1 week Future Stars, if it's 2 weeks, which I think we expect. And, the day after Team of the Year ends, we have this Rooney SBC that is like expensive, but also it's like the best Rooney card we've ever seen. So it's kind of like, what's going on here? Like, what's your motivation, EA? So
Yeah, I think like one last thing about Team of the Year as well. Like one of the weirdest things for me was the upgrades expiring on the Monday, the full team going on the Tuesday. It just didn't make sense to me because, you know, they had these upgrades, and say what you want about the pack weight, it was awful. Okay, for I think everybody all around. But it didn't make any sense that you would end your Team of the Year promo on a Tuesday when your upgrades end on the Monday. That's kind of like the best thing, especially from a hardcore player, I think, is the upgrades. And not being able to grind those on the Monday, it just seemed like a really dead time on the game already, like that last day of Team of the Year. It just kind of felt very meh. And I know there was people on Twitter that were kind of like hoping for some sort of content. Another thing as well, at 7:30 was like the content drop we were getting during Team of the Year, which was so weird because, you know, we were like, oh, nothing came out at 6 p.m. today. There's probably nothing else coming. And then all of a sudden you see something an hour and a half later come out and you're like, hold on a second here. What are they doing now? Is this going to be the new content drop, or are they going to go back to normal now? It just seemed like you know what it seemed like to me, Nate? It just seemed like it was kind of all thrown together last minute. Like, we're going to do this here, we're going to do this there, and we're going to just see how it goes. And for me, it just didn't seem like a great promo. This is definitely probably the worst Team of the Year promo that they've had since I became a content creator, which was probably FIFA 18, around there. Yeah. So for me, that was probably the worst Team of the Year promo. And that's the most shocking part about it, is that, you know, they have more things at their disposal this year. They have objective system. They've got SBCs, right? I mean, they've got so many things that they can do that they didn't do enough during this Team of the Year promo, and they definitely turned the pack weight so horrifically bad. I spent 13 million coins, over 13 million coins. I was planning on going down to 4 million at the end of Team of the Year. I went down to 2. So now I'm kind of back in that couple million. I'm going to have to start grinding up, and we'll talk about that later on in the podcast, about things you guys can do to make some coins, because I know a lot of you guys probably, you know, especially from my chat, Nate, probably yours as well. I just spent this amount on upgrades. I'm now down to this. What can I do to make coins? I think that's a big question, and I think a lot of people want to know, because I think a lot of people did put a lot of money into these upgrades. And also, another thing, Nate, about this promo is the honorable mentions. Absolute catastrophe. Listen, I enjoy this Monte card. I think he's going to be a great card for my team. But please, EA, if you ever watch this video, you're probably not going to, because you don't even know who I am. But please never again put these cards in packs during Team of the Year. If you're going to do this stuff, do it before Team of the Year like you did last year, because it just took away the you know, you had to think about the purple and the white in the middle, or the purple on purple flare. It just really was not a great promo, if we're just kind of detailing this right now. But yeah, I just didn't really like I didn't think the promo was going to be as bad as it was, really.
Yeah, I don't think we even thought that for a minute we would have less lightning rounds than expected, that we would have, you know, just the upgrades and the cards, and we haven't really mentioned that, was just very lackluster. Like Messi, I was just looking at him on my screen, and just the fact that Messi Team of the Year has 83 stamina, even though he was the 12th man, is a 98 rated card with 83 stamina, is just, it's bad, right? And we all looked at the upgrades when the Team of the Year cards first came out, and we were just like, this sucks, right? De Bruyne, 84 pace and 75 defense, where last year's Team of the Year card had 88 pace, he had 99 passing, and I think he had like an 80-something defense as well. It was Ronaldo, you know, not having no 99 rated cards in Team of the Year. Like, what? You know, so it was just kind of confusing. Like, all right, well, I guess EA is going on this fact that Team of the Seasons are now valued higher than Team of the Years, which makes, in my mind, 0 sense, but it's the way they're trying to go with it. So,
yeah, I think one of their plans, I think last year they were criticized a little bit about people getting too many good teams early, and maybe that's why it contributed to, you know, the lack of upgrades we may have gotten on some of these Team of the Years, and maybe the pack weight as well, because, you know, I remember last year I saw all over my timeline there was just so many Team of the Years being pulled, and maybe that was because of the amount of Prem upgrades people were spamming, because it was really a Prem based Team of the Year in FIFA 20. But I think they were criticized a little bit about, kind of these teams were just getting really good, like too early, and it wasn't allowing people to kind of have as much fun if they didn't have a team at that same level. So maybe that's why they didn't upgrade these. But we know that they didn't want to upgrade them as much because I think team of the season, they're definitely looking at upgrading these cards. Like Bruno's going to have like a 99 team of the year, or a team of the season, sorry. De Bruyne's probably going to have like a 98. The Trent's going to have probably like a 95 plus. We're just going to be getting better team of the season cards, it looks like. And last year really was that first year where they kind of, the team of the year cards weren't the best versions of every card that was in that team of the year. So they're kind of moving on from that, team of the year and the best version of the card, which is very weird to me, if I'm being honest. But that's enough of the team of the year promo. Wasn't a great promo. And hopefully, and this is a very, very low percentage of being hopeful here that the next couple promos are going to be pretty good, because team of the year definitely was not as good as I think everybody was expecting it to be. Now, moving on, we do have the Future Stars promo, and as you guys saw, I got capture challenge, so I showed you guys the loading screen. Future Stars is a promo that every single FIFA since FIFA 19 they've brought it out, and it's a promo to kind of highlight some of the best talents in the world, and some of these guys that could potentially be quote-unquote future stars. For me this year, and me and Nate were looking last year at some of the graphs, we didn't really see that many market movements on the market, kind of substitute goods or things that would really move up and down based on these future star cards. But I was telling Nate before, I think the market is going to really correct itself, especially in the mid-tier meta, if a lot of these certain cards come out, like a Camavinga or even like a Gio Reyna. These type of guys, like Serginho Dest, these kind of players, I think are going to make some market movements this year. So Nate, if you want to kind of, like lead us into the Future Stars promo and kind of what do you want to see on that sort of stuff?
Yeah, Future Stars every year since FIFA 19, I'll never forget when they released the Future Stars loading screen for the first time in FIFA 19, and they basically just released these like colors, and it was like a blue and red, and it was right after Team of the Year, and we were just like, what in the world is this? We thought it was like a record breaker promo. I don't know if you remember that, but
yes, yeah.
There was so much speculation, and looking back, honestly, in the last 2 years that this has been a promo, it's been pretty hype both years. I'd say FIFA 19 was the best out of the past two, but they've always hyped up future stars. Like I remember again that FIFA 19, we had like a full week of loading screens before that promo. Last year for the FIFA 20, I believe we had a few days of loading screens. It looks like again this year we got a loading screen on Tuesday. We're probably going to get an updated one on Wednesday and Thursday. It would be my guess. So they really do a good job of pumping it up, and they've honestly, the player selection has been really good the past 2 years as well. I mean, you look at some of these cards, this is like we're in the second half of the year where EA is like, all right, well, we gave them team of the year cards, they're used to having incredible stats, so they put out these future stars guys that have almost team of the year-esque stats just for some of these youngsters, which is kind of like team of the year 2.0, if you will, with the young guns. So I'm kind of excited for future stars. I mean, I think this market is very high. This market has a lot of coins. And again, like we talked about with the unopened FIFA point stuff as well, there is possibility for even more coins to get on the market with that sort of stuff. But also, this market loves to panic, and this market loves to fluctuate because people always want that next best thing, right? I mean, you just look, people don't use Robin and Kleiber that much anymore. Some people do, but a lot of people now use Ronaldo and Cuadrado, right? Now, what's going to be the Rooney, and who are you going to link Rooney to? Tavernier, maybe? Like, there's going to be more cards that come out during Future Stars that people just want to try because they're different, because they get huge upgrades, and they're players that haven't had special cards, right? I mean, looking at some of the guys from last year, Tomori had a cracked center back card in the Prem, right? English center back in the Prem. This would be a card that if something like this came out this year, I'm not sure who they could put out, but this would be a card that would probably hit the price of all Premier League center backs, which that stuff is really, really high. Remember last year we had the Kabak card that was in set one,
Bundesliga.
and the Bundesliga, right? And we didn't have a lot of Bundesliga special cards last year. But after this Kabak guy came out, then we had like an Alaba SBC, and we had like 2 other Bundesliga specials on the game. After that, it was Bundesliga center back. So like they're just gonna put out a lot of cards that just even fill some holes that needed to be filled, like some more English strikers. Last year we had Greenwood, we had Martinelli, and the other left mid from Hudson Odoi. We had 2 left mids from the Prem. We had Sarr, which obviously they were in the Prem last year, and Tielemans. So that's another thing about this promo is it's just very broad, right? You've got all the top 5 leagues represented. I don't know if there was any cards that were... Okay, there was PSV with Malen last year in Batch 2, and then in Batch 1, you had Martinez from Ajax. So basically, it was either a top 5 nation or from the Eredivisie last year. So it's basically from the big-time leagues.
Top 5 leagues, yeah.
And that just puts out a lot more special cards that, like you said about the mid-tier market, could put that mid-tier market at risk because it's just a lot of new cards that people want to go and try out. And we're fresh off a big promo where people are opening packs, so people have coins to do it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was telling Nate a little bit just before this podcast that this year more than ever, I think we've really become like this is a trend. FIFA. This year, because of all the objectives, because of all of the cards that have been released via SBCs or promo cards, it's really, like Nate said, what's the next best thing to have? And I made an example before we came on here about Chiellini. Is Chiellini's freeze card a 350,000 coin card? Probably not, but is he the next best thing right now? Yes, and the reason for that is because he gets links to guys like Dybala and Ronaldo, and that is why this card is at the price that he is currently. So this is kind of like how FIFA is this year, and I think we've seen so many different market movements with kind of chop and change. Like people's teams are kind of going different ways almost weekly, really, because of the objectives they're releasing and the SBCs. And EA could really, and they know how to control their market. They know when they can drop cards. And we're seeing that as well. Like, we saw a lot of cards during Team of the Year that were dropping in price. But it wasn't because, the market was not healthy or anything like that. The market had a lot of coins, and we saw the baby icons. We saw the top-tier market really doing well. But it was kind of that mid-tier market. So, for example, a guy like Memphis Depay. This was a guy that was a really, really meta card, and he held a price of 185 to 200,000 coins, and even hit a high of 210,000. Now, this guy is now down into the 160 range, because Ligue 1 has not really been that league over the last few weeks, and that's why his kind of importance is not really there as much right now. But guess what's going to happen if they bring out another very good value league league on SBC or an objective? Maybe his price goes back up. So this year's really been about trends and kind of what trends to kind of hop on. Like Nate said, we had the Eredivisie hype. We had earlier in the year the Chinese League hype. We even had some MLS hype as well with Yopara, how high that card really had risen because of the Aaron Long and the Nick Lima and those sort of things coming out. So, with Future Stars coming, and I don't know if it's going to be a 1 or 2 week promo, but last year was their first year doing 2 week promos. We did have 2 sets of different Future Stars teams. Will they do 2 full teams in 2 weeks? Because this year, really, we've been getting kind of a full team on, a full 11 or 12 players on the first week, maybe having another 5 or 6, but not being in packs for so long. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do with Future Stars. But I do think that a lot of these mid-tier metas, I think, could be a little risky right now. The top-tier market, the out-of-pack market, the baby icons, the top-tier icons, the top-tier meta, like your Freeze Dembele, your Freeze Say Maximin, those kind of guys, I think you're going to be okay with, because that's the market that I think a lot of people are going to be buying into, as they have that coin total now to buy them, obviously. But this promo is a market mover, sorry. And, we did see that in FIFA 19. I don't know, Nate, you remember we saw Team of the Years getting panic sold back in FIFA 19 leading into the Future Stars promo. Like, it really had people, like, this is the promo that relates to a lot of people. A lot of people in real life that, for me as a United fan, I'm looking at Diallo, right? That's a guy that I'm excited about because he's a young player. He's got a lot of potential. He just came into the club, obviously. We had Palestri as well. If you're a Liverpool supporter, you're looking at Curtis Jones. You're looking at Reece Williams. I think his name is Reece. I could be wrong on that. If you're an Arsenal supporter, you're looking at Saka. You're looking at Smith Rowe, right? So you get excited about these young talents, and that is why this promo is one of the best promos in the game, because they juice the hell out of these cards to allow them to play at this level. It's not like your +4s or 5s. I mean, there's cards that go from like a 73 silver to like an 87 overall, and that's a +14. So I remember last year there was a guy that got like +30 strength or something like that in his card. They just go absolutely wild with their boosts on these cards. I'm excited for it. Future Stars is one of my favorite promos. Obviously, being American, me and Nate, we're gonna have Serginho Dest most likely. Gio Reyna could be in there as well. This is going to be a fun promo. And like we said about the lightning rounds, EA is going to probably put lightning rounds on Friday. There's going to be a lot of people that have FIFA points. And that means there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be ripping packs this Friday. There's going to be a lot more coins coming onto the market. So, this Friday, kind of just like in a little bit of a prep video almost. You really want to be looking out for. I wouldn't really be focusing as much on the out of pack stuff. Maybe I would be looking at roads to the finals, and I'd be looking at baby icons, because that's the markets you have seen people invest into and people that are buying into their teams right now. If they drop off, those are cards that I think are more likely. Same with headliners as well, are cards that I expect to probably rebound in price. If you see any drop offs on them on Friday. But I do expect the market to do pretty good on Friday night. Nate, we can also, actually right now, we didn't even do this in a preparation. We can talk a little bit about Thursday flipping if you want to. Because, Thursday, obviously, there's going to be even more coins being injected into the market. And, people obviously did FUT Champions this past weekend. So you're going to be getting some rewards on Thursday. Do you think that they're going to be, willing to hold their packs, you think, going into Friday? Do you think we're just not going to have as much supply come to the market on Thursday?
I do think that's a possibility, especially because people are used to opening their packs now when there's like something actually out to pack. I mean, this past week, everybody's been saving packs until Team of the Year. They open packs and for so long it was like, I'm saving my packs, and now they're like used to that. Like, hey, I saved my packs for a month before Team of the Year started. Shoot, I can save my packs for 2 days after Weekend League rewards before Future Stars come out. So I do think you will see a little bit of that. Some people will just open out of habit and just out of, they do that every single week regardless. But I think the most part of the market that I'm interested in for like a rewards time frame this week would honestly just be the English side of things, the links to Rooney. I know a lot of the icons are up. Like, I'm looking at middle Gerard right now, who is like a 700,000 coin card who went all the way up to 815K. I'm looking at Baby Rio, who is at the 1.3 lows and right now is 1.3 high and has sold over 1.4 mil. So a lot of these English icons. Baby Ashley Cole has been a freaking roller coaster today. This guy was like 400,000 coins this morning. He went up to 550, and then he got sold back down from everybody that bought, and then then obviously bought that card up. He went back down to like 440 and is now back up over 500K. So he's just kind of on like a massive roller coaster ride right now. It's kind of crazy. But that's kind of the stuff I would, look into the most, I think, to be the most movement full, I guess, if that's a word, on the market is just the English icons and some of the English cards like Vardy. The Sancho has huge potential this weekend, even more. Like, if this card drops down a little bit more, I might get really interested in it because, of course, it's very, very rare as a record breaker, and he's 330K right now. But this dude is honestly going to link to, of course, the new Rooney. He's also going to link to possibly Thomas Delaney getting an informed card this week. So, and that Thomas Delaney could be Club 80. So I'm really curious to see what the Sancho card does. This guy's been a major fluctuator for a long time.
The
like
whole
when
year.
When Robin came out, like this dude died, and then this dude came flying back when Tavernier came out, and now he's going to an even new heights with now Rooney being out too. So yeah, English stuff is where I would honestly look, and of course your really really meta cards that rise about every week. You know, maybe your Renato Sanchez, you know, maybe your Bruno Fernandes, maybe like your Zaha in form, stuff like that. I would expect that stuff to do decent again, just because it's rare and it's stuff people always want.
Yeah, do you think I was going to ask you this as well. Do you think there's an element of overinvestment potentially with a lot of the Serie A and the Bundesliga stuff? Because we've seen a lot of that stuff really rise, and I mean, multiple discords of people being advised to buy some of this stuff, that they're expecting it to go higher, like your Quadrados and your Chiellini, and I'm trying to think of like a Bundesliga meta, maybe like a team of the tournament Kimmich or stuff like that. Really, we've seen do very good over the last couple, over the last like 6-7 days, really.
Yeah, specifically when it comes to like over investing, my mind goes to Road to the Finals right away. Just because if you look at some of their graphs from like Saturday night and Sunday night into Monday, it's like people woke up on Monday and decided to buy Road to the Finals and like buy them to the moon, right? You know, that whole Rebic to the moon or whatever kind of play off the real life stock market. I mean, these guys have literally flown, right? Like, I was looking at Kessie just a little bit ago. Kessie was a 460K card on Saturday night, Sunday night. The guy's literally up over 100,000 coins, which is crazy, right? You have Musa Sissoko and Renato Sanchez. Road to the final items like 1.2 mil, which we thought they were crazy at 1 million coins and like 800K earlier this year. And now they're at 1.2 million coins for both of those cards. It just is like the Cancelo as well. It just is like a lot of people thought these were going to rise, and Champions League games are coming soon, so that's the area of the market that I think is the most overinvested, because that was the quote unquote next big thing happening that people could easily invest in and expect a rise. So with Future Stars coming this weekend, if you see Future Stars dropping some of these Road to the Final items that are meta, that are people use in their teams, like this Cancelo that I'm looking at, maybe David Alaba, maybe a guy like Varane. If we have cards like that are Future Stars, that are dropping the prices of live items on this game that have games in 2 weeks, I would 100% look through that. That'd be something that I always keep in mind, is like live items always rebound faster because they have that live aspect to them. Even headliners, right? I would definitely keep an eye on those too, with everything that's going on, and how Future Stars could impact those cards too.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like you said, I think the live cards are definitely cards that people know that they're live. They have a potential, if they want to bank on a player and a team to go through, it's easier for them to kind of make the decision of buying those players, because they know, like, well, if I'm a Bayern fan, I know we're going to be getting to maybe the semifinal. Let me go buy this Davies, right? Because he's down in price, and I know that, if he goes to like an 88, 89 overall, he's going to go up in price, and that's why I think it's easier for them to buy certain cards like that. So again, and that's also, I think, one of the biggest things as well, is like, we've seen this a lot when there's a panic window on the market. And, I remember this, I don't know how long ago this was, but this was Paul Pogba's gold card. And Paul Pogba's gold card got so overinvested in that this guy went from like 135K before like Wednesday at a point. He went all the way as low as 108,000 coins. It was one of the worst drop-offs I've seen on a gold card in a single day. And it wasn't being affected by anything but over investors. So if you see Future Stars come out this Friday, right, the markets that normally just get invested in sometimes are the cards that get hit the worst, because what investors see, if they're not really, they're not someone that's experienced with investing in cards, and they see their card dropping, they're going to get really worried, Because a lot of these guys aren't being taught to properly invest. They're just being told to buy at a certain price and then just expecting it to rise. But if they see that their card is dropping, let's say even like 10,000 coins, right? They might be more prone to selling those cards off, and it could make a really hard drop off on some of these guys. So that Friday morning, even Friday midday is going to be pretty interesting to see if some of these cards do get sold off quite frequently. Because, normally the cards they get just invested in, like we see this sometimes, I think, with Team of the Weeks, is that they normally get invested in, obviously going into packs. And if people don't really see them rise that much, they're just going to sell for a loss, or they're going to sell for a break even. That could make the card stagnate or drop a little bit lower. Over investors definitely is kind of, I think, the story of FIFA 21 so far. It just seems like everything is invested in. And it's really hard to tell, is this a natural market rise, or is this just investors that are buying this thing up? Like Nate said, Rebic to the moon. I actually got sent yesterday. Nate, I'm actually gonna pull it up on not on the stream here on the video, but this guy put into his free trading tips Discord, and he has 7,000 followers in that Discord. He said, "This is the player we are pumping up. He'll be extinct on PC soon. He will rise a ton. Buy him now. Do not sell until I say so. Holding will allow to maximize profits for everyone. Let's take on Anders Christensen to the moon. Let's see how he will rise. Premium members bought under 500 coins. Let's go." I need to see if this Christensen's actually up in price right now, because that would be actually incredible if that card is up. Let's see. Let's see if this guy's up. He's 850, but did he skyrocket at some point today? Because this, he did. He went to 3.5k last night.
Nah, dude.
Bro, I'm gonna show it on the video right here. At midnight yesterday, he went to 3.4k and then got destroyed the next hour. That's ridiculous. And that's not even rarity either. That's definitely not. This guy, he plays for Malmo. He goes into no SBCs. This guy is as irrelevant as possible. And this guy went to 3.5k. He's not a top 5 nation as well.
I love how you said that, as irrelevant as possible.
I mean,
hopefully he never watches this podcast video.
as in FIFA terms, the guy is not usable at all. He's not being used in teams. He's not a top 5 nation. He's not going to SBC solutions. There's no way that this guy went up that much. It was an artificial rise because of a Discord that advised him. They tried to make this card go to the moon. So yeah, that's the story of FIFA 21. Really, is the overinvestment and the artificial market rises that we've really seen. Let's talk, actually, Nate, going into the second half of the year now. Let's talk about trading tips. Let's talk about things that people can do over the next couple months. As we saw this over the last couple years, obviously getting into the trading community, the second half of the year is definitely not as competitive on the market as the first half of the year is. You don't have as many eyes on the market. Because I think there's a selling down period of a lot of people that, don't have the care in the world to trade anymore. And that's going to kind of take eyes away from certain players. And, there's going to be more versions of cards coming out, which means that there's going to be potential, like, if you go look for a card on the market, like, let's say a card has multiple informs, you could have a nice undercut. There might not be as many people looking at that card. You can buy it as an undercut. Pretty easily. Even with a couple minutes into the listing, you might not have people that are buying these cards up. So let's talk right now. I think, if you want to start it off here, is one of the things that people can do really in the second half of the year to make coins.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, like you said, just less competition, I think, is the biggest thing that enables people to make coins in the second half of the year that would be harder to do in the first half of the year. Because of, I think of icon trading, or even like if you go to Rash Invest at 6 p.m. UK when a content day drops, like today, going to buy the Beckham icons or the English icons to link to Rooney, there's probably going to be less competition, especially as we move further into the early spring months, as people kind of fall off the game, right? It's just people kind of falling off the game. They go, play something else. They just lose their, desire for FIFA. Or they are just feeling like they're done or whatever with the game. So it's easier to fluctuation trade because those cards that are already rare even become more rarer. They have less, even people trying to like trade them on the market or trying to use them in their team. So those earlier promo cards are like really, really good to look at. I'm looking at man of the match cards right now on my screen, and we've had one set of man of the matches that have come out, which it looks like to me they've been taken out of packs, because all the ones that are popping up at the 59th minute for Greenwood right now are not first owner cards. They're all second owner, or they have chem styles on them. So I think these are out of packs, and these cards are honestly incredible. Like, I remember last year, multiple weeks in a row, buying man of the match cards near discard or right at discard actually, and just watching them rise. I remember Fred last year. I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but man of the match Fred last year in FIFA 20, we were buying him for basically discard, and he went up 10K like in 2 weeks. And I think this Greenwood card is definitely going to be somewhere in the 25K range at some point, just because these cards are so rare, and they're an orange Fanta color. They're cool. So I really like these cards, and it's honestly like they're going to start putting them out almost every single week. And we had some pretty solid cards that were released this week for man of the matches. Eriksen was our best one. I'm not saying his card is really that incredible, but if you look at Tiesa, you look at Tammy Abraham, for a newer user to foot, or especially Greenwood, like Greenwood's card really isn't bad. Those cards, Phil Foden even, right? It's not bad. Like, those cards at discard value, which is 15K for these Fanta items, those are honestly Sunday night investments in squad battles that you can make with bids or buy it nows on snipes. You can make that almost every single week, and most weeks you will see nice rises on those cards. It's just picking the right ones and, you know, choosing your spots, of course. But that's like a really easy trading method in the second half of the year too, and just being able to know the quick flips and knowing which cards are hyped up, and when of course we have SBCs like the Robin or like the Ronaldo or like the Rooney that come out, knowing the cards are going to bounce up and down because of that, and, you know, just knowing where like where the hype is alongside of SBC content and new cards that are out in packs, and being able to kind of buy link investments to those. Like you said, this has been a year with a lot of link investments, and I totally agree with that. So yeah, second half of the year is just stuff gets rarer, it fluctuates more, and that makes it more easy to trade with less competition. So I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I think I was actually, as you mentioned, Eriksen, your lookalike. I actually just got him at 39,000 coins, and he's been multiple times today, 43.5, and that just kind of shows you, like, you know, that was kind of like a minute and a half, 2 minutes into his listing. You know, that just took one listing really, just for me to see what his price really was. I was interested. I went to his graph. You know, there's not going to be a ton of competition. There's going to be certain competition, obviously, on cards that, you know, maybe people are looking at a little bit more. But with these man of the match cards, you know, I think, Nate, they go out of packs every single week on a Tuesday, right? They go on packs on Friday nights normally, and then Tuesday nights they normally take them out. Yeah, I remember that Fred situation last year, you know, and there was multiple situations last year where cards just, you know, they did really good because, again, like you said, they weren't really supplied that much. They go in packs on a Friday night after the Friday lightning rounds normally. The lightning rounds on Saturday and Sunday aren't as, you know, kind of opened. If they do run lightning rounds, assuming that EA does do some this weekend. And yeah, they come into packs every single Friday night. Monday we don't really get much supply, and then Tuesday they go out of packs. And yeah, these guys don't really get supplied at all. I mean, I'm looking at this Eriksen card here. Not really much supply for a card that you would think would have at least a little bit of supply, knowing that it is Team of the Year. And I'm showing the supply here right now. This is not going to be the supply that you see most weeks, because Team of the Year had just so many more packs being ripped open compared to any other promo week. So yeah, the Eriksen, you know, the Greenwood, the Foden, even the Tammy Abraham, like, as a cheap alternative just for some, you know, kind of casual field players. You know, also, the second half of the year, FIFA, I don't know if it kind of changes in price, but I think FIFA gets a little bit cheaper for people, where you don't actually have to pay the $60 to get the game. And I think, you know, I remember I had a lot of IRL friends last year, you know, as the pandemic kind of started, they bought FIFA for the first time of the year. And that kind of brings a lot of lower tier, you know, players onto the game. They're not going to be players that have, you know, hundreds and millions of coins, really. they're going to have like 60, 70, 80K to improve their team. And that's going to allow them to kind of go into the markets like the man of the match cards that are cool. You know, I mean, we call them Fanta cards, but they're cool looking. You know, they're orange, that, you know, every single year I thought. And the fact that, I mean, this Tammy Abraham card, you said their discard's like literally 15K, right?
Yeah, 15K. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, this Tammy Abraham is literally 15.2K. I can essentially buy this card. Maybe I buy like 10 of them. I wait maybe a couple days. He goes to 18.519. There's 2K, 2.5K a card. And you can also list for lazy buyers, get them with different chem styles on them. That's another thing as well. I think in the second half of the year, like chem style trading, you know, with informs, other specials, all that kind of stuff is going to be really good. I have a couple of filters that I kind of grinded last year that I can show you guys on this video. I just kind of go special, quality, chemistry style, shadow. You can do defenders if you want to, and then you can kind of just play around with your minimum and your maximum price, 15K, 15 million, and then just kind of go to the 59 minute. And what you'll see on this filter is you will see maybe not that many players listed above the hourly, and you can compare price snipe on the last player, and you can do this with other filters in the game. Like, this is kind of one of the best ways to snipe cards. It's not really about adjusting the price on the actual market. It's more about like kind of comparing pricing on the last player and then seeing if a new one pops up. And on this filter, you'll pretty much see every player that is listed with a minimum star price. So I know that if you do put up a card up for like 10.2 star and you allow somebody to possibly get a deal on your card, that's another thing is bidding. We'll talk about that. You allow them to get a deal on your card, you're going to be able to probably see some good opportunities on snipes. Just because maybe if a Golovan's going for 15,000 coins, maybe I could see 11.5 or a 12K put up, right? Because people just don't, they're not as experienced of listing cards if they're listing it for a potential bid. We talked about bidding a little bit where, you know, pretty much the second half of the year for me really is a way for you guys to learn the market. I remember last year, a lot of people in my live stream, they said, yo, thank you for your trading tips in the second half of the year. I really have started to learn the market. And those same people have kind of taken those tips into this year and have done pretty well. And that's what I did back in FIFA 19. In the first half of the year, I was not somebody that really wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I was not somebody that was like, I'm going to icon trade, I'm going to special card trade too much. I didn't do any of that stuff in the first half. But as there was less eyes on the market, as there was fluctuations that were going on, and as bidding was definitely really good to do during FIFA 19, you could take advantage and kind of start learning the trends of the market to take into FIFA 22. And yes, your kind of goal might be just to get your end game team in FIFA 21, but FIFA 22, obviously, this is a yearly game. So you want to take the things that you know in FIFA 21, you want to apply those into FIFA 22, because then you can have a better start than maybe you did earlier this year. Maybe this is your first year on the market, and you're watching me, you're watching Nate, you're watching other traders kind of do the things that we do, and now you can kind of relate to some of those things that we do because you've taken the steps in that second half of the year where it's not as competitive. It's not where it's like you have to be so fast thinking. It's more so like you kind of slow things down a little bit. And, you know, they say this in, you know, in real life sports, but the players that kind of slow the game down and kind of play at a level that they can play at sometimes are the best. And that's kind of like what it is with the market a little bit, where if you kind of slow everything down a little bit, you don't kind of overwhelm yourself. And just, you can really do well on this market in the second half of the year because there is less eyes in the market. So yeah, the second half of the year is a really good opportunity, I think, for you guys to get involved with the market, to make coins, and then apply those tips, those trends, things that we see into next year. And yes, there is going to be some different trends in FIFA 22 than FIFA 21. It happens every year, but you'll have more market experience, and it'll allow you to make more coins in the market next year, as well as having fun in FIFA 21. And that's what I did from 19 all the way to 20. And then obviously look where we are right now. So we've probably hit the 47, 48 minute mark of the podcast. We hope that you guys did enjoy this episode 3. I've been trying to get guests on. Trust me, I've not been able to get a guest on yet, but we will get one on soon. I'd like to thank Nate for coming on, obviously, and being the co-host as per. Okay, he's not gonna say anything. We had this problem in the beginning of the podcast as well. We just didn't know what was going on. The coordination wasn't there. It's still not there. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have a weak link right now. We don't have a green link right yet.
We have a yellow link right now. So thank you guys for watching the video. Just drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new around here. That's all you guys gotta do. And check out Nate. All of his social medias will be in the description. Check me out on my Twitch. Check in on the free train Discord if you guys made it this far. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Peace.